blind to my eyes. Girl, do you remember me? This is how the story goes. When you fly too close to the sun, you will see, you will get shot down, crucified by your greed.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope that your weekend has started well. Just turning down a bit of an echo that I was getting going on there. Hopefully it's okay for you guys so you can hear me and see me. So we had a very, very big event earlier on today. It was England playing in the Euros quarterfinals, and we managed to get through on penalties. So the UK, well, not the UK, but England specifically, are very upbeat and happy at the moment. If we had not had got through, then it would have been a very depressed England. But we are great and looking forward to next Wednesday, which is the semi-final of the Euros. So yeah, everybody in England was watching that, and luckily for me, it was a 5 p.m. kickoff, which meant that I could watch it and then get everything set up for my live stream afterwards. Now, I'm not sure what the kickoff time is on Wednesday. I'm going to have to look into it because Wednesday is a video day, so maybe I'll do something in advance for that so that I can watch it because it is the semi-final, which is great. But anyway, I hope that you guys are having just as good a Saturday wherever you are. I can see you guys in that live chat room, so hello to you. Bella, Corey, Pink Thistle, Alison, Rowe, Charlie, Angela, Tammy, Joe, Paul, Linda, Ginny, Orlando, Laura, Bob, Billy, Terry, Rowe again. And I was doing well until it's now gone crazy. So yeah, hello everybody in there. Now, let me get this on screen instantly. Well, first of all, names of my patrons, because they make this all possible in the first place. So a massive shout out to you guys. You know who you are, and they are the foundation of everything that I do on the channel. So a massive thank you to these lovely people at the bottom of the screen. If you guys want to get involved yourselves, you can head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and that's where I am every evening. Even when I'm not on YouTube, I do a little update over there to let you know what I'm up to, how things are going, and let's get rid of that. So thank you guys. They make this live stream possible, the analysis videos possible, all my cover videos that I've done in the past, all of that cool stuff. But now, tonight's live stream is a record attempt, as it has been for the last few months, but this one is going to be aiming for 520 likes. So that's the record attempt. We're going to be trying to hit 520 likes for tonight's live stream. That'll be the biggest likes we've ever got, or at least the biggest target we've ever hit on the channel. So if you can hit that thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated to give us a bit of a head start on getting to that target, because yeah, it is one hell of a target for tonight. Now let me get the likeometer up on screen to see where we are at, and 236 likes so far. So let's see if we can get a bit of a spike of the likes going on, and I will, yes, jump into that one. It's a little bit easier to work out. So the maths will have to wait for tonight, I think. If I try and attempt this, it could go wrong because it might get a bit of a spike like that. So yeah, that just went up by almost 10. So thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. We'll do some maths a little bit later on when it's a bit easier to figure out, but 520 is what we're aiming for, and if we hit that target, then we'll have Phil Jam number 152. So we've been getting through plenty of Phil Jams, and yeah, it is number 152, but we have to hit a hell of a lot of likes in order to get there in the first place. So every thumbs up that you can muster would be great. Now I can see that we have had some donations, so thank you guys for those. And it's at this point that I say you don't have to donate, just watching is great. So for those people that can't resist donating, I think it's important that those people know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal if you use the PayPal link in the description below. But yeah, just tuning in, saying hi, hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment, that's great. Introduce yourself into that live chat room because that's how we get to know each other on the live streams. So for tonight's cover video as well, that's between More Than Words and I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and I can see that More Than Words has 61% of the vote at the moment. So if you want to hear a little bit of Aerosmith rather than Extreme, obviously it's my version of those songs, then click on that vote at the top of the live chat room. So yes, donations wise, thank you for this, Paul. Paul has donated $5 and says, here we grow again, 388,000 subscribers. Let's have fun tonight. Let's spike those likes, all y'all rock. So thank you for that, Paul. And let's make it official. Did I change this? I did change this to 388,000 subscribers. So again, a huge thank you to you guys for tuning in and subscribing, hitting the notification bell and all of that cool stuff, which you will have to do in order to get notified for the videos and the live streams. So yeah, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then you won't miss a video, because yeah, as well as the live streams, of course, we have the analysis videos that I release 3 times a week. So let's get rid of that, and we'll keep on pushing forwards, as I always say, and we'll see where we end up. But certainly 388,000 is quite a nice number to be at so far. Orlando has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, happy belated Independence Day in the USA. So thank you for that, Orlando. And what is the date? It is the 6th. So yeah, a couple of days ago, yep, it would have been Independence Day over in the USA. It's not something that we have a day for here, but yeah, I hope you guys had a good Independence Day over there. Now, there have been some donations over on PayPal as well, so thank you guys for these, and I will jump into these if I can actually see it around my microphone. We've had a donation from Janice for £45.40. So thank you for that, Janice. And I'm just going to check that that was the most recent one. And yes, it was. So Janice says, Philip, I don't see you wearing in-ear monitors in any of your on-stage performance videos. Are they hidden under your hair? Thanks. So, in a word, yes. So yeah, when I play live, it's always my preference to have in-ear monitors, and I run those in-ear monitors to not the desk, but generally people might not know, but when you have in-ear monitors, it goes to your own unit that you have, which has an XLR, which is a lead for a microphone, and it has an XLR in and an XLR out. So with my in-ears, what I do is go from my in-ears into, because it's a wireless receiver as well, so it's like a wireless thing. I go into this little box, and then I have the desk, so the sound guy who's doing all of the levels, and sometimes singers and artists rely on the sound guy to do the levels in their ears, whereas I don't, just because of a bad experience that I had with the sound guy. He didn't know what he was doing and just boosted the volume to my in-ears so that I got feedback in my ears while playing live. So not the most enjoyable experience. I mean, just hearing feedback anyway is, sometimes, like nails down a blackboard, that scratchy sound, but it's just the volume. That's what kind of hurts your ears. So imagine having that inside your ears. So yeah, I then decided that, right, what I'm going to do is go into my unit, and then I'm going to take the signal from the unit straight to my kind of wireless pack that I have behind me, and then I can adjust my level. And obviously it means I'm hearing a dry sound of my voice without whatever there might be on the desk. They might put reverb on it or delay or whatever, but at least it means I get a clear signal of my voice, and I can control the volume on my wireless pack. So it means that, if I want it, maybe a 7 out of 10, so I can hear the other stuff going on, then I'm in control of that rather than relying on somebody else. So yeah, that's the way that I do it. But what I also do is I have my in-ears. Obviously, I've got a lot of hair, so it covers them over, but generally I run them down my back. So yeah, it goes down my back and into the pack, which is kind of on the back right hand side, on my jeans or whatever I'm wearing live, and then my shirt kind of overhangs. So yeah, that's it. I think maybe having them kind of hanging around the front here so that it looks like you're listening to something, on your MP3 player or something. Yeah, I don't really like that look. So yeah, have it behind my back so you can't really see anything. Obviously, if you don't have lots of hair, then you can't really hide it. So anyway, thank you for that, Janice. And there's been another donation, and this has come through from Anna, and it's for £8. So thank you for that, Anna. That is a straight up donation. Or it might be Sana. So, I mean, it's difficult to tell because I think it is Sana with an S, so thank you for that. The email address is beatsana or beatsanna, but then it says a little bit further down that, well, the name is Sana, so thank you for that. Right, the next one that came through was from Cindy. Again, this is £50. Thank you for this, Cindy, and this is a straight up donation, and this is B ordering a CD, which is, something that's come through PayPal because we had to do it a different way because it wasn't working on the website. And then I realised that I've run out of the envelopes that I need to send off the CDs. So I'm a little bit behind with my CD orders at the moment, but those arrived today, the envelopes, so I can get sorting those out. But thank you for that, B, for ordering the CD. And there's another donation from Michael for £10. So thank you for that, Michael. And Tammy has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 388,000 subscribers. How important do you think music videos are to an artist's overall image and success? Rock. So thank you for that. And I'd say pretty much any kind of video is essential in the modern day music industry because everything's video. Obviously it started with MTV, and then videos became something that was really important for artists to the point where they're trying to outdo each other with their videos. So it really turned into a visual medium as well as having your song. You needed something to look at when people were hearing your song. And yeah, I mean, the bands and artists who were making those videos would then obviously get a lot more exposure being on MTV than other bands that didn't make a video for their song. So yeah, that was back then, but now, with YouTube, it's even more important. I don't think you'll hear or see a single being released that doesn't have a video with it. I mean, even just having a lyric video, being able to read along to, the words of the song, that's something that's commonly done as well. So yeah, absolutely essential, I'd say, music videos. But I don't think it is really important to have, huge budget and all that kind of stuff. I think even just a simple music video, if the song's good, then yeah, it doesn't really matter about the production or spending lots of money on production, because I think there's always the case that you can spend loads of money on a video and then the video doesn't turn out very well. So yeah, it's like on my That's Metal video, just walking around London. That was what that was all about, and yeah, very easy to do. even though we had to do it in between rain showers, but that's what the UK is all about, unfortunately. But yeah, just a simple idea, but something to look at when you're listening to the song. And with that particular video, it was trying to keep it in keeping with, you know, the name of the song, and having a kind of tongue-in-cheek look about the video, because it was about 80s metal and all that kind of stuff, where everybody seemed to be topless all the time, so it seemed the only thing to do for that song and that video. But anyway, thank you for that, Tammy. And Liz has donated £10. Thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, do you think you might play the Mugabe in Phil Jams now and then? So thank you for that. And I don't know really. I mean, what tends to happen is, like, at the moment the Strat is plugged in, so I just grab whichever guitar's plugged in, and because the Mugabe has a speaker on it, it means that you don't have to plug it in. So I don't know at what point it would ever be plugged in to then grab it to then have a fill jam. And also, it's all the way over there, whereas this guitar, like my Strat as well, is just, you know, over here. I just have to turn around and grab it. So it's a little bit easier for me to grab during the live streams. So, yeah, I don't know is the answer to that. Most likely it'll just be whatever's been plugged in last. So thank you for that, Liz. And Debbie has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Debbie. And the message is, hi, Phil, congrats on 388,000 subscribers. Sorry, YouTube wanted you to cut yourself out of your blocked video. Hopefully you can find a solution around this issue. You're amazing. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And I mean, sadly, I don't think there's a way around that other than me taking out my analysis. So it kind of defeats the whole point of the video if I'm not explaining what's going on, because I've had to cut it out of the video. And this is something that a few people have commented saying, so will the video of you putting in the stuff that's in the block video mean that the video on the video will get blocked? And at the moment it hasn't been blocked. And I mean, the way that I'm thinking how that's happened is that I've taken it out of context from that original video, and it means that I'm assuming that YouTube has the whole, 15, 20 minutes, however long that video was, it has that as an audio file. So it just kind of registers as, oh yeah, no, that bit is copyright, that bit's copyright, when it isn't. So when it's in context, it flags it. Whereas when I take out a section and add in talking before and then have the other section in there, it's not registering. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm playing a bit and then I'm stopping it and then talking. So I'm changing the audio file at least so that it's not triggering it as the original from my video, kind of the blocked audio, because there's other audio around it. And maybe because I'm only playing little bits of it, it's not picking it up. So yeah, at the moment, I haven't been asked to cut myself out of my own video, for both of those videos. But I think sadly that first one, because like I've said, I'd have to cut out the analysis, which in an analysis video isn't ideal. So yeah, we'll just have to unfortunately accept it. And I know that some people have also said, oh, why don't you just dispute the claim? And it isn't a claim, it's a block, which means that you can't do anything with that. You can dispute a block, but that's when you get into copyright strike territory, which means that, yeah, if you get a strike, that's a big deal. And if you get 3 strikes, then your channel's deleted. So yeah, for me, it's not really worth the risk to dispute a block, even if I'm disputing myself, saying that I should be allowed to be in my own video. But yeah, it's not really worth, because the first thing that is really stupid is myself getting copyright blocked from my own video. But then I think, well, the only thing more stupid than that would be for me to receive a copyright strike for having my own self in my own video. And I wouldn't put that past YouTube in order for that to happen. So yeah, I don't even want to risk it. So that analysis video, we're just gonna have to deal with it, that I can't do it. But yeah, at the moment, the other video is still up there, me explaining that it has been blocked, or at least that original analysis was blocked, and my explanation of techniques. But anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. And Rebecca has donated £25, so thank you for that, Rebecca. And that is a straight up donation, so thank you for that. Right, we are up to date in the PayPal window, and let's check in on that likeometer. We are at 354 likes so far, so thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, that would be very much appreciated to get us to a new record that we're aiming for tonight of 520. So this will be the largest likes goal that we've ever hit on the channel. So we need every single thumbs up we can get. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Right. Oh, there have been some more donations in the super chat window. So thank you guys for these. And it's Rick who has donated $20. So thank you for that, Rick. And it says, "You are amazing," with the pear person doing a little dance. So thank you for that, Rick. And Orlando says, "Spike the likes," with lots of thumbs up. Great idea there. Thank you for that, Orlando. And that $2 donation is followed by Karen's $5 donation. So thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, "Can you explain Elton John's vocals? He sounds more clear speaking than singing. Once the internet came, I saw the correct lyrics." So thank you for that, Karen. And yes, I can explain Elton John's voice, or at least the way that his voice has changed. Now, the thing is, when he first started, I don't think he's ever had the clearest enunciation in the way that he forms his words, because he always seemed to have more of an American twang to his voice. I mean, I'm sure that American people and people who have an American accent will say, "Oh, it doesn't sound American," but from an English ear's perspective, from my ear, he's always sounded like it's a little bit American. And yeah, as the years have progressed, he's started to blend the words together so that you're not really hearing as many consonants, and you're just kind of hearing lots of vowels. So yeah, he's just kind of smoothed those out. And yeah, I have joked in the past about, you know, sometimes with his last performance, was it Glastonbury? It might have been at Glastonbury, but when he was singing, you know the song and you know what the words are, so it's okay. It doesn't matter that, you know, he's not bringing these songs out for the first time and then you're trying to hear exactly what he's singing. But it certainly sounded like, and I'm going to try and do an example. The other thing is that he's got a bit of a closed or covered vocal sound anyway. So rather than being really bright with it, it's more like, I'm still standing here, you know, and it kind of all blends into one kind of sound, rather than, you know, saying very clearly, you know, "I'm still standing, you know, better than I ever did." Not that he's ever sung like that, but yeah, that's it. It all kind of blends into that. You know, so obviously, I don't think it's quite. I don't know. It might be that dramatic, but it is that kind of blending of the words. Obviously, you know, yeah. Doing an impression of Elton John is not something I've ever done before, and will probably never do again. But hopefully, vocally, what's happening is, instead of going, I'm still standing, rather than being bright like that, he goes, and you get that covered sound, and then when you don't hit the enunciation and you start to blend it, because even going, I'm still standing, you know, you'd still hear that. But if you're going, and you take out the S's, then it starts to blend into more of just a noise rather than hearing every single word. But that just tends to be, yeah, his style. And I think that when people then start to impersonate or sing an Elton John song, they sing it in that kind of way, and with that kind of different accent as well. So anyway, that's my explanation of Elton John's voice, as it has progressed throughout the years. And obviously with the range and towards the end of his kind of live performing career, he would kind of belt in chest voice, and he definitely got more of that rasp in his sound. But that's just through years and years and years and years of gigging, performing all the time, that he just got this rasp to the top end of his chest voice, and even lower down, where you would, previously experience his vocal as quite clean. It would now have a bit of grit to it, and that raspy kind of sound all the way through the range. But that's something that commonly happens when somebody performs all the time and they're in such demand. And sometimes it's almost like a maturing of the voice where range isn't affected, but then other times it can be that range is affected because it's almost like a bit of vocal damage that has happened over the years, so that you don't now get a clean connection of the vocal cords. There's a little bit of extra vibration in there that maybe shouldn't be there, due to a nodule or something like that on the vocal cords. So that can happen as well. But anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And Ron has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Ron. And the message is always interesting. Watching from Studio City, California. Keep it up. Also, thank you for that. And Tony has donated £5. So thank you for that, Tony. And the message is, do you have a slight but off-putting delay with your in-ears? So thank you for that, Tony. And no, this is another thing that, because I'm bypassing going into the desk, it means that all I'm doing, generally I'd have, because I used a wireless system, generally what I'd have is the receiver for my in-ear monitors on top of my amp, or just by the side of my amp or behind my amp. So if the stage wasn't too big, it means that the signal is going to be pretty strong. There isn't going to be a delay. But this is the point, that I'm receiving the signal from that box, rather than going through that box, going to the desk, and then having that potentially longer loop from the desk coming then back to my in-ears. So what I'm doing is going into the box, and I'm getting a direct feed into my ears from there, and then I just plug the desk into the back of that box as an output, so they get the sound of my voice, but they don't have to worry about my in-ear monitoring setup. And this is another thing about playing live and having the setup as I do with my in-ears. You'll be amazed at how many sound guys have a problem with me just running my own in-ears to myself, because they'll hand you the mic lead, the XLR lead, and they'll say, there you go, that's for your microphone. And I'll say, oh, thanks. And I'm putting it into the back of my in-ears, because I've got my own lead that goes into the box. So I'm totally self-sufficient and I can control that, and it's great. But when I'd be plugging it into my in-ears, I said, oh, what are you doing? And I said, oh, it's all right. It doesn't affect you. This is my vocal feed. This is my mic going into this. You get the output, so you'll still get my vocal from the mic. But I'm intercepting the signal to then be able to hear it with my in-ears. And then the kind of look they'll give you. But as much as you try and explain it, that it doesn't affect your setup at all, just pretend that this XLR lead is going into the microphone. Just pretend that that's what's happening, because that is what's happening effectively. All that's happening is I'm intercepting the signal for myself to hear my voice. But the looks that I used to get, it is as if I was doing something that wasn't allowed. But I guess it's, they don't really, maybe they didn't understand what I was doing, and they thought it would totally mess up their mix or something. But the amount of times that sound guys say, oh, you can't put that there. I say, what? Well, this is my foot pedal. I need this for the gig. They say, oh, we can't put it there. And the reason one guy said I couldn't put it there was because it looked and a word beginning with S that is like excrement. So anyway, this is the great thing about playing live. You get some sound guys who are just weird. Say, oh, you can't have that there because I don't like the look of it. Is that what? But we're the band, we're playing. Surely we need to have the equipment that we usually use on stage. So anyway, thankfully in that particular situation, he relented and allowed me to have my foot pedals on stage. So yeah, that was a great result there. And yeah, big thanks to that sound guy. Because again, heaven forbid, I mean, so many people go to watch a live gig and before the band play, they go, whoa, how can we listen to this band? Because look at his foot pedal there. I mean, that looks rubbish down there. And this other guy, he's got a foot pedal over there. So yeah, I'm not going to listen to this band because where the foot pedals are just, out of order. So yeah, anyway, but this is, like I've said, playing live, playing lots of different gigs, venues, small venues, large venues. Yeah, you get to experience all kinds of things and all kinds of different sound guys. And some are great and some others aren't so great, but that's just the nature of playing live as an independent and original band. So anyway, thank you for that, Tony. And Karen donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Karen. The messages. Reminder, you mentioned in the Believe analysis with Adam Lambert that you'd do an analysis on his vocals. So thank you for that, Karen. And yeah, that was quite a while ago. And I'm trying to think if there was indeed another video where we're looking at Adam's voice. I'm sure we've put Adam's voice through the pitch monitoring software another time, but yeah, I don't know. I know, I might have gone blocked on copyrights, but thank you for that, Karen. And Anna has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Anna. The messages, spike the likes. We have to beat the record. Cheers. So thank you for that. And we're looking for 110 more thumbs up. So that was a good time to look at the likeometer. So yeah, if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be great. We're aiming for a new record tonight. We're looking for 110 more people to get involved. Hit that thumbs up and then we'll bust out the guitar for Phil Jam number 152. So thank you for that, Anna. And Mike D has donated $20 as well. Thank you for that, Mike. The message is, apologies on not using PayPal, but I don't have an account, so my donation has to go through Red Tape YouTube. So thank you for that, Mike, and no problem at all. Of course, everybody can decide exactly how they want to do the donations. If indeed, you want to donate, you don't have to. As I always say, just tuning in is great. But thank you as well to Arnie. Is that Arnie or is it Arn? Who has donated £10. Thank you for that. And the message is, you're recently covered Roger Daltrey's live performance and he has been very open about his hearing loss. What's your take on how to stay on pitch when almost deaf? How do they do it? So thank you for that. And I had this question in the comments section. Was it in the comments section? It might have been an email. I can't remember. But somebody asking the same question, that they were saying, does it make it more impressive when somebody such as Roger has a lot of hearing loss, but then can stay on pitch? And I said, well, maybe, but maybe not, because when you lose hearing, it means that you can't hear everything outside of your ears. But what happens when you're singing, and you might see this with a lot of singers, when they are singing, they might do this. They'll put their finger over one ear, your left ear or right ear, in order to try and hear their voice more clearly. So what they're doing is effectively making themselves lose their hearing to hear their voice resonate in their head. So when talking about, Roger, it's almost like, you're already doing that. If you've got a lot of hearing loss, you're going to, effectively lose all the top end, and you'll just hear everything that you can hear when you put your fingers in your ears. So it might be the case that he can't hear. I mean, again, I'd say that he can't hear the top end, so the high frequencies, which means, yeah, crashes, hi-hats, guitars, things kind of, obviously high notes on the guitar, top end of, piano, keyboards. You won't be able to hear that as clearly. So he will struggle to hear all of that. But the lower frequencies, those are the last frequencies to go with hearing. So it means that, bass and lower notes on the guitar. But the bass is always a great reference point. So if you put your fingers over your ears, you will undoubtedly hear the bass. Obviously, you need a great bassist to be able to play the right notes, so you know exactly where the notes are, and the bass has to be in tune. But it means that, I think Roger, he's still really accurate. So for me, it means that he can still hear the bass. He might lose a lot of that top end, but he can hear his own voice inside his head. So, that's something that, and you guys can do this if you want to. It means not listening to me for a few seconds, which might be an added bonus. But put your fingers in your ears and just talk, and you'll be able to hear your voice. So it's not that you put your fingers in your ears and now you can't hear yourself talk. If anything, you can hear your voice more clearly because you're hearing the resonance and the vibrations of everything going on inside your head. So you can do that as a little experiment, but I'm sure anybody that's suffered with hearing loss will understand that everything outside gets lost, but you now hear what's inside your head even more clearly. And especially when we're talking about Roger and his singing and belting and all of that kind of stuff, there'll be a lot of volume to it. So I don't think he'll struggle to hear his voice because of his hearing loss. But anyway, thank you for that. Orlando has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, I went to a concert in Manhattan years ago and I was bothered because the music drowned out the singing. Was the amplifier setup the problem or just bad acoustics? So thank you for that, Orlando. And again, this is something that happens all the time with live performance setups, especially when you start talking about, really loud volumes, is the top end. Interestingly, it's exactly the opposite to losing your hearing, or at least the top end, all of the high end, crashes and all that stuff at the top end of the frequency range. That is the stuff that damages your ears the most. So when you go and watch a live band and it's really loud, all of that top end, unfortunately, it's almost like it shocks your ears. So when somebody's singing, you can't really hear that because it's, especially with the drums and the cymbals and the hi-hat, if that's really cutting through in the mix, hearing vocals is going to be really difficult, and hearing high notes on a guitar is going to be difficult. So sometimes you can lose the guitar in that sound. But with the vocals, often you won't be able to hear them clearly because of all the instrumentation and, all of that. You're living in the same place, such as, keys and guitars. They all live in the same place as the voice frequency wise, so it can get hidden in there. So my top tip is, even though it might not look very good, is put your fingers in your ears to hear the vocal, and you'll be amazed that now cuts out all of the top end that kind of masks everything in your ears because it's just so abrasive, all those high-end frequencies. So put your fingers in your ears and you'll start to hear everything more clearly, especially the vocals and especially guitars and all those things are in that mid-range. It won't now be covered over by this high-end volume, which does, it's almost like the high-end really kind of shocks the ears the most. So you'll also be amazed that sometimes when you put your fingers in your ears, you can then realize that, the singer's not quite where they should be pitch wise, but you can't really make that out when everything's so loud. It's just like, oh wow, this is just really loud and I can't make anything out apart from, maybe the bass, if the bass is loud enough. So it's a common thing that you'll have at live gigs, and this is something that I experienced at venues that I played at where the volume was just too loud, where you think you could be in a small pub or especially a club that is more for live music, they just go crazy with the PA system. And it's at maximum, all you would need is, have the drum kit just acoustically. You don't even need to mic it up because it's such a small venue, and maybe have a PA for the amplifiers. But I've got that's 150 watts behind me. That's going to be absolutely fine for a small venue. So set that up. So if they've got the equipment, fine. If they've got a smaller amp for another band, then you can have a PA and just run the guitars through that as well as the vocals. But what they'd do is they would mic up a drum kit and run it all through a ridiculous PA, a 1,000,000 watt PA for a tiny little club. So of course, when people are listening to it, it's almost unlistenable because it's so loud. Whereas, that's something that I've played in loads of venues like that. We think this is totally unnecessary, and acoustically it would sound better if you didn't mic up the drum kit and put it all out of the PA, because now you're getting feedback everywhere. If you just let the band play and have the vocal just slightly above the volume that the band are playing, it would be ideal. But this is the thing, everyone seems to think that more volume equals better, whereas it doesn't. More volume just equals louder and causes more resonance and more resonant frequencies and more feedback, and more now trying to keep everything under control, because you're just trying to boost volume so much in such a confined area that you're going to get some sound waves bouncing off walls and causing feedback going back into the microphone, your guitar, going into your amp, which is right behind you. So it's an absolute nightmare. I mean, generally with your guitar and with your amp, you've rehearsed at kind of full volume, so you can keep that under control. But when it starts becoming a PA and a mic thing, you can't do anything about that, because that's the venue that they've set it up that way. And once they start boosting the volumes, it can be an absolute nightmare when the sound guy or sound guys don't really know what they're doing, and that it's not even required. Anyway, yes, thank you for that, Orlando. So I would say that that was just probably having everything too loud in that venue, but also just it tends to be the case that everything masks over the vocals, because that frequency just totally blasts your ears, unfortunately. So top tip, put your fingers in your ears, and if you put your fingers in your ears and you still can't hear the vocal, then that's the mix. That is the vocal being too low in the mix. Same for guitars. But again, I think that with guitars, as a guitarist, you've got to have your setup so that you've got your rhythm tone at maybe 75%, and then your lead tone is at 100%, so that you are going to boost yourself above everything else in the mix when you get to your solos, rather than relying on a sound guy boosting you by 25% for your lead solo, because they never do it, because they don't know where your solo is. So I think it's better just to take control yourself. So yes, thank you for that, Orlando. And Lisa W has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that. And the message is, congratulations on 388k. So thank you for that, Lisa, and thank you guys for subscribing and getting involved on the channel, hitting the thumbs up, all that kind of stuff, and for you guys hitting the thumbs up during this live stream, because we're looking for 60 more people before the end of the live stream. But it's just gone 1:45 here, so time is running away. We'll have to try and get as many thumbs up. We would be hitting a new record for the channel if we hit that 520 likes goal. So we will see. We'll drum up some thumbs up. That would be great. But thank you, Lisa W, for that donation. And Janice has donated £30 again. Thank you for that, Janice. And the message is, for your spot-on impression of Elton John. With a smiley face. So yes, thank you for that. I'm not quite sure it was that accurate, but obviously when you're not really impersonating, but demonstrating what a person does with their voice, obviously it's always going to be my voice that it's going to sound like. I can't really help that, but as long as it helps to understand the difference between a vocal and I'd say this same thing with Roger's voice, Roger Daltrey, that when he was younger, he did tend to have more of that brighter sound. And then, I mean, in that performance, that was a few weeks ago, he's 80. I mean, that's just ridiculous to be singing in the same range. Almost 50 years later. It's absolutely crazy. From that performance that we looked at in the late 70s. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. But he did have more of a covered sound as well. So, yeah, it can be something that happens to the voice as the vocalist ages. But, like with Roger's voice, it doesn't mean that he's losing any range, that he's losing those top notes. It's just that tone is ever so slightly changing and evolving, with age. But anyway, thank you for that, Janice. Right, we are going to be jumping into... we've got Picture Corner, so we'll get into the cover video for tonight, which I'm going to end the poll, and it looks like it was More Than Words, and yes, it is 59% of the vote for More Than Words. So thank you guys for voting for that one, and you guys over on Patreon for requesting that. And I don't want to miss a thing, obviously it's going to be my version of the Extreme Classic. We'll get into Picture Corner after this, and we're still going to keep an eye on that likeometer to see if we can get up to 520. We're kind of getting close, 477 at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that. But this is my version of More Than Words. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock. Hi guys, this is my first proper video of 2017, and it's my cover of More Than Words by Extreme, and I hope you like it. Rock.
Saying I love you is not the words I wanna hear from you. It's not that I want you not to say, but if you only knew how easy it would be to show me how you more than words is all you have to do to make it real. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, 'cause I'd already know. What would you do if my heart was torn in two? More than words to show you feel that your love for me is real. What would you say if I took those words away? Then you could make things new just by saying I love you. Love, more than words, love. Now that I've tried to talk to you and make you understand, all you have to do is close your eyes and just reach out your hands and touch me. Hold me close, don't ever let me go. More than words is all I ever needed you to show. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, 'cause I'd already love for me is real. What would you say if I took those words away? Then you could make things new just by saying I love you.
And there we have it. That was my version of More Than Words by Extreme. Thank you guys for voting for that as tonight's cover video. Now we are going to be jumping into Picture Corner as well, but I can see Judy says you forgot to plug the mug. I always forget to do the plugging of the mug and the merchandise. So if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, there's a tray underneath this video. You can click on any of those items. Or if there isn't a tray underneath this video, you can click on the link in the description below for the spring.com store. So there's another donation, and this is from Brian, and Brian donated $10. Thank you for that. And it's Brian's 10th super chat donation, so thank you for that as well. And the message is, appreciate your work, great channel. I've always been curious, were singers like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston pitch corrected live and or in studio? Thanks. So those singers and pretty much any singer before, I'd say, the mid 90s, even though everybody started thinking about auto-tune, especially in 1998 with Believe by Cher. That's when everyone realised that this auto-tune thing was happening. But pitch correction was coming in during the 90s as well. So pitch correction, I'd say, to begin with, it was not widely used. I'd say until maybe the 2000s, getting into 2005, 2010 is where the industry started to try and get everything pitch corrected, and then 2015, then they really started doing it on lots of different artists to where now it's an industry standard, which means it's done to everything. So with great singers back in the day, of which these two were great singers, and they were around before pitch correction. Now they still had the ability to do drop-ins or punch in or record something once and then just record another bit. So say for example, Whitney Houston is singing a song and it's great, but there's a bit in the chorus that she didn't quite nail and they want to do it again. What they couldn't do is get the vocal up on screen and drag each word and each consonant and vowel to different lines to then make it perfect. I say perfect to A440 standard pitch, which is actually not perfect. But anyway, that's another discussion. So they couldn't do that. What would have to happen is she would have to sing it again and hopefully sing it better the next time. And with great singers, I mean, you'll be amazed at, when we have looked at, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, when we're looking at the lines on screen, you'll be amazed at how inaccurate they are, but it sounds great because they're hitting the average frequency of all of the instrumentation, and all of the instrumentation isn't always perfectly tuned, especially when you're talking about stringed instruments. So you'll be amazed at just how they're slightly sharp, slightly flat, and never on the lines all the time. So yeah, back in the day, and there are some people saying, oh, pitch correction has been used since the 60s or the 70s, and they're referring to speeding up and slowing down tape, like vary speed, and that's something that was nowhere near the level of what you can do now. So for example, if somebody was slightly flat on a particular phrase, then you'd speed up the tape to make it slightly higher, because the faster the tape runs, the higher the voice will get until it sounds like a chipmunk when you run it really quickly. But it means that if there was a vocal that was slightly flat, they would speed up the tape ever so slightly, but they couldn't speed up the tape for one word, and then the next word might have been more in tune, but then the next one wasn't, and then the next one wasn't, but then the next word was fine, and the next one wasn't, which is what you can do now. So yeah, you had to be able to do a whole phrase in tune, or a whole phrase slightly flat. You couldn't just, tweak it like you can nowadays. So I'd say that, yeah, back in the day, you could adjust it, but only a tiny amount. You had to be able to sing accurately in the first place, even to the point where somebody would sing the song the whole way through. And this is another thing that people get confused about when they say, oh, this song is actually slightly sharp of standard tuning because they've sped it up. But it still means that the singer has sung it in tune, at standard pitch. So when they then speed it up, it's still in tune. They're not affecting the vocalist's voice because all the instrumentation is sped up as well. So that's slightly sharp. So yeah, I'd say that, yeah, back in the day, you couldn't edit the vocals anywhere near the level that you can now. So yeah, for those singers, no, they had to actually be able to do it in the studio. They couldn't edit it, and the editing was hugely limited. So this is why with the great songs, you will see notes that are slightly sharp and slightly flat, but then you just get to know those notes and expect them. So, they just were what they were in the studio, and they're kind of left in because they can't really be that finely edited as they can do nowadays. So anyway, thank you for this donation, Rex, who has donated £11 and 23 pence. So thank you for that. The message is, many thanks for the channel, Rex. Suba, pronounced Suba. So thank you for that. And yes, I was just making sure that I did pronounce that correctly, and Suba. I think I did get it. So thank you for that, Rex. Right, and we are 9 likes away. Oh, let's get into Picture Corner. So 9 more people if you are out there in the live chat room. If you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great. Then we'll bust out the guitar and see what's going on with tonight's Phil Jam. And this would be a new record, 8 more people. And yeah, Phil Jam number 152. Let's jump into Picture Corner, see what's going on in there tonight. And to begin with, I'm going to have to do a little bit of editing on the fly here in order to get these on screen for you to be able to see it. But first of all, we have this picture that's been sent in by Nicole. So thank you for this, Nicole. And it looks like the signed Wings of Pegasus album and a glass with a British spoon. Is it in there? I'm guessing. But thank you for that, Nicole. And I tell you what, I'm going to get rid of that because now I've got to adjust the screen capture in order to get this picture in, because it's a totally different size to the one that we just looked at. And we'll get this up on screen, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, because it's a different size, it's all off to the side. Let me see if I can grab it and move it over here. Oh, there we go. So this is an email that I received, and I meant to show this either the last live stream or the live stream before, but I couldn't find the email because I've got 4 different email addresses. There's like phil@wingsofpegasus.com, there's philwingsofpegasus@gmail, there's Phil Headley at Hotmail, there's wingsofpegasus at Hotmail, and is there another one? There might be another one. Anyway, and this doesn't include all of the messages that I get on different social media accounts, so keeping track of messages is a nightmare. But anyway, this was Laura that forwarded this particular email to me, and thank you for letting me know, Laura, that it was the phil@wingsofpegasus.com account. And this was sent in from Ed, and Ed is with Fourth Impact, and he's got his Wings of Pegasus t-shirt on. And I did an analysis video on Fourth Impact relatively recently, or maybe not, it was maybe a few months ago, but yeah, I heard that the girls have watched it as well, so yeah, that's great. But the message with this is Phil did a video on Fourth Impact's natural vocals, and they loved it. I was at their concert in Las Vegas last Friday night, and I got a photo wearing my t-shirt. In the photo, I had them do the rock sign, and I was unaware that I had a third finger out in one of my hands. I hope that doesn't mean anything. Anyway, they did the sign right. So thank you for that, Ed. And yes, I mean, I think pretty much rock and roll is rock and roll. It doesn't really matter with... This is the other thing that, yeah, different hand signs and things, I don't really know much about them, other than the rock sign, of course, the rock horns. But, yeah, thank you for sending that one in. And, yeah, we've got lots of rock horns going on, which is great. And there were actually 3 pictures, but I've just grabbed this one. So, yeah, thank you for sending that in, Laura, linking me to it, but also Ed for taking that picture and wearing the Wings of Pegasus t-shirt. And, yeah, getting together with Fourth Impact for that picture. So, that is Picture Corner for tonight. And it looks like we have hit the target, the new record of 520 likes. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up and getting us there. It means we are going to bust out the guitar. We're going to have a fill jam. And over here, I'm going to have to just check that there is... Okay, right, here it is. Yeah, number 152. And it is 8 minutes in length. So... 8 minutes, that means it's going to take us pretty much to the end of the live stream, so I'm going to have to get a move on. But I think we are pretty much up to date with everything. Tony's donated £5. Thank you for that, Tony. Again, the message is, do you think in time there will be a backlash to AI images, videos, music, pitch correction and auto-tune, etc.? I do, Tony. So thank you for that, Tony. And... yes, I think there will be, and I can't say a lot about it at the moment, but I'm actively working on a project that is, very much to do with that in the future. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know over on Patreon as to when all of that is kicking off, but it's probably going to be, I did say kind of a month or 2 ago, it would be mid-July to the end of July. So yeah, things are closing in, and of course I'll do a video on my channel and I'll release that to let everybody know, but it very much addresses Tony, what you're talking about there in terms of knowing what is real and what isn't real. I think is a very important thing to know in the music industry, but just in any industry, because it is, across all of, the industries and commerce and anything that you buy, people want to know that it's real, that what you're buying is a genuine article. And I think that should go for, concert tickets as well, that people should be allowed to know whether they're going to buy a ticket to see a genuine live performance or whether they're buying a ticket to see just dancing with a backing track. So, yeah, there you go. And... this is something as well that somebody asked me if I'd seen any of Glastonbury, and I hadn't seen any of Glastonbury, but now I have seen a bit of Glastonbury. So, yes, I noticed some things about the performances that I'm going to make a video on, and most likely I'll do that tomorrow night. So, yeah, we'll have a bit of a Glastonbury special video tomorrow night that's going to highlight maybe a couple of performances and... just to do with what Tony's talking about there. So anyway, thank you for that. And Orlando's just popped in with a $2 donation. So thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, I am on my other YouTube account to help reach the goal. So thank you for that, Orlando. And we're going to grab the Strat, just because it's plugged in. Oh, even though, Joe says gem distortion, but... well, we're going to grab this one. It's all right. I think the distortion sounds all right on this. Right, let me actually click on the button. Then we'll have some adverts.
Welcome to Reverb.
Oh, no. Reverb. It's that guy with his vocal fry at the end of the sentence. I don't know why that affects me so much. Welcome to Reverb. Right, let me mute that. Play through that video so you don't have to listen to it. And this is deep, heavy groove rock backing track for guitar in E minor. And this is coming from Rock On Jam Tracks on YouTube, of course. And that's all just as you would expect it, with separate words and capital letters at the beginning of every word. Have we... oh, microphone, of course. I just zoomed out. I think I saw the red dude. So, yeah, we should be okay to go. Let's unmute this. Let me know what the levels are like. I think I might have to go heavy with this. It's not super heavy. Let's go with that. A bit louder. Got some changes going on here. I say yes because I predicted it was going to go a little bit quieter. finish. There's not too much you can do with a fade out, but there we go. That's as good as you could do. Try and play a little bit more quietly as it disappears into nothing. So anyway, that was Phil Jam number 152. And yeah, that was quite a cool one, because sometimes it starts out and it's just going to be that same thing over and over and over again. But then I heard that it was changing, which is good. So that was deep, heavy groove rock backing track for guitar in E minor. And that's from Rock On Jam Tracks on YouTube. So check out that channel and that video if you want to jam along to it yourselves. So yeah, thank you, Joe, for sending that my way. We are going to be calling things to a close. And by the way, it means that because we hit the target tonight of 520, we're going to be aiming for 525 next week. So yeah, if you guys could tune in again, that would be very much appreciated, because we're going to need everybody to return to hit the thumbs up to get a new record next week, because we now have the record set at 520, which is great. Orlando's donated again $2 and says, I am on my other YouTube account to help reach the goal. So thank you for that. And Orlando donated again $2 and said, you have done it again. Great jam. So thank you for the kind words and for that donation. Right, we are going to be calling things to a close now. So I'll be here with another video tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So look out for that one, of course. And I'm going to be here with another live stream on a Tuesday night. Well, on Tuesday night. It will be a Tuesday night when we do it. 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, as always. So yeah, if you guys could join me there, that would be great. All that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!